Hello everyone, so today's video I'm going to show you how to replace a brake light bulb on a 2014 Ford Escape. And this requires just for a screwdriver. So you'll find these two covers, just need to pop them out with a flathead screwdriver. Once you pop out the two covers, make sure you don't lose these. You have to pop them back on once you're done. Just need to get your 8mm socket or an 8mm screwdriver. Same thing, just need to pull out the bolt that is holding the headlight housing. And be very careful when taking the bolts out, because this headlight housing will come out as you pull out the 8mm bolts. Make sure you don't lose this, because it doesn't come with the screws even if you are replacing your taillight housing. This taillight housing is not damaged, all it just needs is a new bulb. And these is very important. Make sure you don't lose this once you remove it to replace a light bulb. So it's very important to make sure you don't lose them once you replace a light bulb, because you're going to end up with a problem with your headlight housing getting loose. Just pull out the headlight housing. Just need to disconnect the harness. Just need to remove the wire harness connector that goes for the taillight wiring to make it more easier. Just to pull out the whole housing instead of having it hooked. And you just pop out the harness to the headlight housing to make it more easier to get access to replacing light bulbs instead of you having it hooked up to the wire, because it makes it much difficult. And this process, which makes the process much easier just by unplugging the harness that goes from the vehicle wire harness, makes it much easier to get access to the bulb you're getting access to replacing the bulb. So this is the bulb you need to get access to for replacing the bulb. So you need to twist it. And this is the bulb we need to replace, because this is the one that burnt out. For a brake light that doesn't turn on, just pull out the burned out bulb. So I'm going to show it to you guys. You guys can see that the filament in it is broken. So this is when you know your brake light doesn't work. And doesn't mean you always see it. For a bulb that's burnt out, usually you most often will see it have a burn mark on the top. Usually this one doesn't look like having any burn marks on it. Just only I see is the filament in there is broken. So that's how you can tell when you have a bad bulb. If you do touch it, your bulb will burn out, and you end up with a bulb indicator on your dash for an indicator telling for a bad bulb, which usually it's always good to take a look at the bulb to see what the problem is before you change the bulb. There it is, new bulb popped in. So let's put it back to the housing. Make sure you have it secured in the housing. So now let's pop it back into the vehicle. So just need to get your harness, plug it into the taillight housing. And the clip on it broke, so I think it'll still work. So be very careful with using a screwdriver, because the plastic on this have broke, which will still work. Just make sure you have the harness in there completely plugged in, and you will have no problem, and you will still have power to your actual connections in this taillight, which is very important to make sure your connection harness is secured. Because if it's loose, it won't get a good connection for the system to power the brake light. We're going to pop this in back to the vehicle. Make sure this side is engaged to this from the taillight housing. And then pop it in. Once it gets into that groove, pop it in. And it's in. So you just need to put in the two 8mm screws. Make sure you have the rubber completely into the housing so it can get a good seal around it, so it doesn't go into the actual housing wiring connection harnesses, so it doesn't get the connections wet and causing corrosion problem for light failure on this. which usually happens usually for when people don't have this rubber lip in the actual tail light. It's going to let water into the actual connections inside the tail light housing, which will be a problem for a brake light that doesn't work, or your actual blinkers that goes from here will get you an issue. So you just need to put in the bolt. Make sure it's tight. Make sure they're secure so the housing doesn't wobble. It's all secured. Just pop in those plastic covers. It's all done. So let's see if the warning light goes away after replacing the brake light bulb they have burnt out. What? Let's see. Just press on the brakes. Just press on the brakes and it resets it. So let's see if the issue goes away. That's how you fix the indicator, just by resetting it. And that's how you replace a brake light bulb on a 2014 Ford Escape model. If this video was helpful, if it did, hit that like button. I really appreciate it. And make sure you hit that subscribe button or notification bell so you'll be notified too, so you'll never miss a video that we upload in this repair channel. And have a great day. Stay safe. Bye.